They buried bodies in their backyard. The garden, once a place of life and growth, became a macabre cemetery. Each shovel of earth turned over revealed a dark secret, a life cut short and a story untold. Not just one or two. The scale of their crimes was staggering, with each grave marker a silent witness to the horrors that unfolded in this seemingly serene setting. At least 9 souls found their final resting place beneath the patio, the garden, and the very stones that were meant to beautify the home. Each disturbed patch of soil told a tale of unimaginable suffering and loss. Even buried in the cellar floor of 25 Cromwell Street. The cellar, a place typically used for storage, became a tomb for the innocent. The walls, if they could speak, would tell stories of fear, pain, and the final moments of those who perished there. This seemingly ordinary house in Gloucester, England, hid a horrifying truth. From the outside, it looked like any other home, a place where families lived and children played. But inside, it was a house of horrors, where the darkest of human nature was on full display. It was a place where innocence was stolen, where the laughter of children was replaced by cries of despair. The neglected garden and broken swings stood as haunting reminders of the lives that were shattered within those walls, and life itself was treated with casual cruelty. The overgrown garden and discarded personal items painted a picture of neglect and abandonment, mirroring the fate of those who fell victim to the evil that resided there. This is the story of Fred and Rose West, a couple bound by darkness, whose partnership was forged in cruelty and violence. Together they created a legacy of pain and suffering that would haunt the community for years to come. Their horrific acts shocked a nation, leaving an indelible mark on the collective memory. The discovery of their crimes brought a community to its knees as the true extent of their depravity was revealed to the world. Fred West, a man with a disturbing past and a hunger for violence, found a willing accomplice in Rosemary Letts. Rose, as she became known, was drawn to Fred's darkness. Their shared proclivity for sadism formed a bond, a union fueled by depravity that would culminate in unimaginable acts of cruelty. Their victims, often young women, were lured to their doom, unaware of the nightmare that awaited them behind the doors of 25 Cromwell Street. The full scope of Fred and Rose's crimes remained hidden for years. They lived in a seemingly ordinary house on a quiet street, blending seamlessly into the fabric of their community. Neighbours would often see them going about their daily routines, never suspecting the horrors that lay behind their front door. Their ability to blend in, to appear as just another couple in the crowd, was their greatest weapon. They were masters of deception, presenting a facade of normalcy that masked their true nature. To appear almost normal provided cover for their monstrous acts. They would walk hand in hand, smile at passers-by, and engage in small talk with neighbours. It was all part of their carefully constructed illusion. Behind closed doors, they subjected their victims to unspeakable torture, their home becoming a prison for those unfortunate enough to cross their path. The walls of their house bore silent witness to the suffering endured within. Their cruelty, fueled by a perverse sense of power and control, they thrived on the fear and pain of their victims, deriving a twisted pleasure from their suffering. Each act of violence only served to deepen their depravity. The victims were often reported missing, their families left in a state of anguish and uncertainty. Desperate searches were conducted, but the truth remained elusive. Their disappearances shrouded in mystery. The community was left to wonder and speculate, never imagining the true extent of the evil that lurked so close to home. Little did anyone suspect the horrifying truth that they were gone, taken by the very people they might have greeted on the street. The investigation would eventually uncover the grim reality. Consumed by the darkness that had taken root at 25 Cromwell Street. The house, once just another residence, would become infamous as the site of unimaginable atrocities. The legacy of Fred and Rose West would forever haunt the memories of those who lived in its shadow. The house itself became a silent witness to their crimes. Each room held its own horror, its own stain of violence. The cellar, cold and damp, became a tomb. The garden, where children should have played, yielded the skeletal remains of those who had suffered at the hands of the Wests. The seemingly ordinary facade of 25 Cromwell Street masked a charnel house, a place where evil festered and innocent lives were extinguished. Many of the victims were young women, runaways or drifters, seeking shelter and finding only despair. Their stories were tragically similar, lured to 25 Cromwell Street with promises of kindness, only to be trapped in a web of depravity. Their families and friends were left with only questions, their grief compounded by the agonizing uncertainty of their loved ones' fates. For years, rumors circulated about the couple. Neighbors spoke in hushed tones about strange noises emanating from the house and the constant flow of visitors. But fear kept many silent. It wasn't until one brave young woman escaped their clutches and reported the horrors she endured that the whispers turned to screams. The investigation that followed would expose the true depths of their depravity and send shockwaves through the nation. In 1994, the investigation into the Wests ramped up. Police descended upon 25 Cromwell Street armed with search warrants and a growing sense of dread. What they uncovered was nothing short of horrific. The garden, the cellar, even the walls themselves seemed to whisper tales of unimaginable cruelty. The nation watched in horror as the true extent of the West's crimes came to light. Fred West, facing the weight of his crimes, chose a coward's escape. He hanged himself in prison while awaiting trial, taking his secrets and the possibility of full justice for his victims with him. Rose West, however, remained defiant, maintaining her innocence and showing no remorse for the suffering she inflicted. She was convicted on 10 counts of murder and sentenced to life in prison, a sentence that will keep her behind bars for the rest of her days. 25 Cromwell Street, the house that had borne witness to such unspeakable acts, was demolished. The decision to tear down the house was not taken lightly. It was a place that had become synonymous with terror and unimaginable suffering. The authorities, along with the community, felt that erasing the physical structure was a necessary step towards healing. The demolition was a symbolic act, an attempt to remove the stain of the West's crimes from the neighborhood. The ground where it stood was consecrated, transformed into a memorial garden, a place where the families of the victims could find a measure of peace. This garden, with its serene atmosphere and carefully tended flowers, stands in stark contrast to the horrors that once took place there. It serves as a sanctuary, a place for reflection and remembrance. The memorial plaque, inscribed with the names of the victims, ensures that they will never be forgotten. It is a place where the community can come together to mourn and to remember, to find solace in the midst of their grief. But the echoes of the West's crimes continue to reverberate. The dark legacy of Fred and Rosemary West is not easily erased. The stories of their victims, the unimaginable suffering they endured, continue to haunt the collective memory of the community. The neighborhood, once a place of ordinary life, now carries the weight of these tragic events. The cloudy skies and somber atmosphere serve as a reminder of the darkness that once overshadowed this place. Their story serves as a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of the ordinary and the importance of giving voice to suspicion and speaking out against evil. It is a stark reminder that evil can exist in the most unexpected places, and that it is the responsibility of each individual to remain vigilant. The West's crimes have left an indelible mark on the community, but they have also strengthened the resolve of the people to stand against such atrocities. The quiet suburban streets and the contemplative expressions of the people reflect a community that has been forever changed, but also one that is determined to move forward, to honor the memory of the victims, and to ensure that such horrors are never repeated.